Word. So welcome everyone to the Natural Team Spark Call. It is June, 19th? 17th. Just wishing the week away, I guess. And tonight our guest speaker is new Diamond coach Rachel Rohde, and she is going to be talking about ways to expand your market and ways to talk to people about Beachbody in person, which is something Rachel has really excelled at. And she has so many great anecdotes to show how she's built her team in this way, just kind of meeting random people and connecting and sharing her passion. So we're excited to have Rachel speak. But before Rachel starts talking, Jen just had some suggestions for all of us about the best way to participate and support other people in challenge groups. So Jen, if you want to go ahead.
Sure. Hey guys.
Great.
I just wanted to touch base with everybody because, you know, the first month when you become a challenger, you are so excited and you sort of live and die by the posts, and it is what makes you successful. And then you become a coach, and, you know, I feel like that excitement stays and stays and stays. And somewhere along the path, you know, life happens and you get busy, and I totally get that. But you have to remember that your presence in the group, whether you're a support coach or whether you're a working coach, is critical to the success of the group. And I know my team, you know, we're going through some growing pains right now. You know, we've gotten big and people are, you know, it's busy. A lot of us are teachers and a lot of people aren't posting. And, you know, we really had a serious talk last night about you need to post. Even if life is busy and you can't work out, you have made such positive changes in your life that there is something you can post about every single day. You are eating a healthy snack. You are eating a healthy meal. You're drinking your Shakeology. You are doing something that you can share with the challenge group every single day. So if life gets in your way and you can't press play one day, it's really important that you are sharing some aspect of your new lifestyle with the group for the benefit of the new challengers and for the benefit of all the other coaches so that everyone feels that support and motivation. And what really resonated with me yesterday was that a challenger made a comment to me like, hey, there's a lot of people in this group, but I don't see them all. And I was like, whoa, like people are watching, and we have to, you know, when we sign up to be a coach, we're saying, hey, I'm going to support people. I'm going to help people. And I'm going to work on my fitness goals. So you have to stay true to yourself as well. So staying true to yourself means doing it. So, you know, that's just something I know, you know, when people say I'm busy and I can't, and I get it. I'm busy too. I work, I have kids, you know, it happens. But just always remember there's some aspect of your day that is different than your day before you started this whole process. And that's what you post about. And that's keeping it real too, so that people can feel like, oh, they're not all perfect. You know, these perfect Beachbody coaches. No, we have bad days too. We are human. So that's what I wanted to share with everyone. You know, just kind of thinking outside of the box. When we think posting, we think sweaty pic. I'm saying strawberry. I'm saying my healthy dinner. I'm saying my Shakeology if I don't have a sweaty pic for that day. So that's just what I wanted to share with all of you.
Thanks, Jen. Yeah, I think that's so helpful because I've had that happen too. Right now, our team is pretty peppy with the posts, but it has happened before. You get those lulls, and it's tough to break out of. And yeah, people definitely think if I didn't work out today, I can't post. But there are so many ways to post. So Rachel, do you want to go ahead and get started?
Sure. Yes. So I've been a coach for a year, and I've been a Diamond coach since May. And one of the ways that I feel like I am going to grow this business is through something that I've always sort of loved to do, which is two little words, only connect, which, as you may know, is from Howard's End, and I live by it. I live and die by those two words. I love meeting new people, and I love reconnecting with old ones. And I feel like so much of this business is just about connecting with people on a personal level, building those relationships, and then you connect them to the product and the program that's going to work for them. But for me, it all starts with that personal connection, like some sort of common ground, something that will
We don't have any more. Go buy it tomorrow.
break the ice and get you to, sorry, I'm just like distracted.
Sorry,
Is everyone going on mute or no? I'm
let's
like,
have everyone mute their lines right now. Sorry.
And so anyway, I feel like that is something that I've always loved to do, and it segues really nicely into this business. And I've done a lot of reading on like why face-to-face network marketing networking still matters. So the reason it still matters is because you really want a powerful personal connection with someone before they could begin to trust you. And when you meet someone for the first time and you're talking, it's going to accelerate your relationship if you show an interest in them and show that you're someone who can be trusted. You will learn more about someone and they'll learn more about you in like 10 minutes of talking than 6 months of just knowing someone online from Facebook. Even if you see their posts and read about them, that's like their brand. And I think we're all like smart enough to know that it's not who they are necessarily, it's like what they're projecting. So when you see someone in person for 10 minutes, like amazing to me how someone I know really well could like project something different on Facebook, or someone who maybe I'm meeting for the first time who gives me a certain impression projects something completely different. So I love Facebook for so many reasons, but to me, it just is like the way to go in terms of like just getting that spark and being able to start forming relationships. And also you'll find more common ground in person anyway than you would necessarily online. And then also, of course, people will feel more comfortable with you as they trust you. And then I've learned that the people I have met in person that I form with and then go on to like have a Facebook or email relationship with, it is much easier when Beachbody does come up with them at a later point. Like the 5-step invitation process goes much more smoothly and quickly after you've established that, because people still, as much as we're on our phones, we still like to see like a person, and we like kind of getting a vibe from them. And especially like for me, like with moms that I've met just like from the children's piazza or like play groups or whatever, like I know your mom, I know you're like safe. You're not just like someone on Facebook who's like sort of hiding behind a profile picture or something like that. So one of my coaches, I don't know if she's on the call, but Renee, who's like kicking butt and is awesome. She's co-captaining the June challenge group with me. I'm so like lucky to have her on my team. She and I met when she was like walking her dog in the park a few months after she had her baby, and we just started talking. And I didn't have a business card on me. I have business cards, but I didn't have it. But my husband was there and he had one, so I gave it to her. And we just ended up connecting on Facebook and realizing we had a lot of friends in common, which wasn't too surprising because she lives the next town over. But just from that, we ended up like having banter back and forth. And then she ended up doing like PIO and becoming a coach. And now she's Emerald and probably soon to be Diamond. So like, that's just one example, and like an example I love to use, because literally it was like in the park, we just started talking, and we didn't even really talk about Beachbody till the end of the conversation. We mostly talked about her baby and the dog, because he was a beautiful golden retriever. So when you're in the world, I feel like if you look around you, and I know I'm guilty of this too, is that I, in idle moments, I will look at my smartphone, but I've sort of developed these standards around using my smartphone. It's like, if I'm out in public with my daughter and she needs me or wants my attention, I like put it away, unless like I have to take a call, which there's not many of those. But if there's like an idle time, like if I'm in the grocery store line by myself and there's an opportunity to like talk to someone in person, I make a mindful effort to just like put my phone away. Because if you have an opportunity to like be present and meet someone and just talk about anything with them, like start a conversation with anything, something, I don't know. I mean, it could be something like circumstantial that's like right going on in front of you that you can make a comment about, or it could be something like, there's just so many ways to like, that's like a whole other different topic, but you just start talking to people. And it's like, if you're not looking down and like you look up, it's like the world is like right in front of you. And I just shared a post tonight about how some guy like missed a humpback whale, like breaching in front of his boat because he was like on his phone. And it's like, you don't want to miss all those moments and all those opportunities to connect with people. So yeah, just be present. Like even yesterday I was like at a consignment store and I was looking for like boots for Nashville. And I talked to this woman about going to Nashville, and the saleswoman's like going the same time as I am. And just totally coincidentally on a anniversary and getaway. So she and I started talking, and she used to do T25 with a bunch of other teachers. She was a teacher, and now she's interested in size. So she signed up for my Beachbody through 30 days on demand. I was like, oh yeah, you can try like a bunch of them. You can just do like 30 days free. And I didn't even like sell her a challenge pack or anything like that. We just, before I even left the store, I was like, I gave her my card and I was like, oh, get in touch with me over Facebook and I'll send you the link to get your 30 days free. And then I actually went back to the store. I was like, I hope she doesn't think I'm a stalker, but I went back to the store. I'm like, you know what? Let me just get your Facebook thing and I'll send it to you right now. So I wanted to get, this is why I've learned, like, I have business cards and they're great, but I actually like being the one to find them first and Facebook them, because so many times I'll like lose your card or whatever. But if you're like having a conversation with someone and you end it with, oh, like, are you on Facebook? Like, we should totally touch base or stay in touch that way. We can like swap farm share recipes or get our kids together or do something. Oh, you go to Cranes Beach, you have a sticker, like, let's get together with the kids at some point. So if you like, you know, usually most of the time, in fact, this has never not happened to me, they'll just give you their name and you look at them in Facebook and it's like, all right, I just sent you a friend request. And this happens to me like all the time. And now, boom, they're in your network. I like met a mom last week from the North Shore nursery school. My daughter's going at a play group. We talked for like 5 minutes. She looked at my, like, we friend requested, didn't talk about Beachbody at all. She looked at my wall later and was like, oh my gosh, like, I'm totally into working out. My nutrition is off. Like, I want to do something like the Refresh. I'm so interested in like eating properly. So Beachbody like doesn't even have to come in the conversation. So I kind of feel like it's just really about building relationships. And I know that sounds like redundant, but it's not necessarily about talking in person about Beachbody. It's about just like being yourself, being authentic, being present, and being like trustworthy, smiling. Like, even something I have on this list, like, I'm like, oh, all the ways you can like, you know, put your best foot forward and like, you know, kind of recover the lost art of like chit chat with each other, is that you have to be like comfortable in your own skin. And you also have to like put your best foot forward. Like, you know, I was 35 pounds overweight and I would go out of the house with like my same yoga drawstring pants on. Like, I had like probably 4 of them, and just something oversized and like no makeup. And like, of course I wanted to hide. I didn't really want to talk. Like, I've always been outgoing. If I see people I know, that's fine. But I didn't like approach people. And when you put on makeup and you like, you know, dress up a little bit, like put in some effort into your appearance, because this is like, you know, what you're presenting to the world. It's like, not to sound shallow, but it's like, it is important. And it's not about like being a beauty queen. It's just about being comfortable in your skin. So that's my advice. And then staying curious and also like complimenting people. Like, my mom used to always say to people like, oh my God, you have the most beautiful skin. Like, can I ask you, what do you use on your face? And the person would just like glow. They'd be so happy that like someone actually like went out of their way to say something nice to them. And they'd be like, oh, I use this. And then my mom, who's like a total hoarder with like skincare products, would go out and like, buy it and hoping like she would get the same skin. But that was like my mom's quirkiness that used to embarrass me as a kid. And I think it made me in a lot of ways like bold, because I really have like no trouble going up to anybody and just like asking them anything. So I guess the main thing is like to let your conversation flow organically after you strike it up. And then at the end, like, again, get their Facebook like immediately, because then you know you're going to stay connected. You know you have a way to like message them at a later date and, you know, form a relationship and go through the invitation process. So yeah, and I think like if you plan your exit from the conversation, it doesn't like, you know, it depends on the circumstance. Like, you can talk to a stranger for like an hour, you can talk for 5 minutes, but like if you sort of plan it so you're the one leaving first, it, in a way, it gives you sort of control to be like, all right, and before I do, like, let's just make sure we can continue talking. So again, just be authentic, be yourself. And that's pretty much sums up. I'm just looking. How long have I been talking, Charisse? Because I just want to go into, I didn't even start my stopwatch. I had a stopwatch going to go over.
But that was great. And I just wanted to add one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Also, having wear and share on in those circumstances also makes an easy conversation starter. Mm-hmm. Because if you're just chatting, you know, once you're talking for a few minutes, if someone's like, oh, You have an Apio shirt? What is that? I keep hearing about it. I have no idea what it is. It just goes from there. So that's why, yes, like when you feel more confident, that definitely helps what you said about feeling good about yourself and putting yourself out there. But also when you have on wear and share, it kind of reminds you, that you are presenting yourself as someone who is passionate about health and fitness. And, it's a good thing to keep in your mind. And it's also a good conversation starter. So, and remember, like most of us even just have the shaker cup, like,
right. That's what I use everywhere.
Just keep your water in it. Have it be your water bottle. People ask about that all the time. And the other thing I wanted to say as far as connecting on Facebook, that is always what I do. And usually when I meet somebody, I just have my Facebook on my phone open, and then I go to the search box and ask them to type in their name. So there's
that's even better. Yeah.
Spelling, and especially if you have a somewhat typical name or an atypical name, even the spelling could be off, but if it's a typical name, there could be about 25 Jennifer Browns just in the town that you search for.
Okay.
So if they put it in, it brings up their exact profile. You send them the friend request on the spot and you say, okay, I just friend requested you. So that way we're connected, and that's it. And I do that constantly. So did you, Rachel, have other things that you wanted to say? Or was that it? Are you frozen? Let's see.
Okay. I think Sheree, I don't know.
Oh, sorry. I think you guys all were frozen to me. Maybe I appeared frozen to you for a minute there.
Oh, okay.
I was just going to say, did Jen want to say something?
Well, I just want to just jump in on the wear and share for a second. Every time you complete a program, you can fill out for the Beachbody Challenge. You fill it out, and they'll send you a free shirt.
Right.
And if you do the refresh, they'll send you a free shaker cup. And all you have to do is enter your before picture and after picture and your story, and it saves your you've done one program, then you do another program. You just tweak it a little bit. In a couple weeks, you get a brand.
We had mutual friends in common. I thought it was sort of weird. So I sort of had rules about how I used to use Facebook before I was a Beachbody coach. It was like no ex-boyfriends, no ex-bosses or bosses. I felt like that was kind of weird. And then people I didn't know, even if we had friends in common, if someone I didn't know friended me, I'd always shoot back and be like, I'm sorry, how do we know each other? Just because I felt weird having someone I didn't know personally. And I just came across a woman who was like, yeah, I don't add anyone to Facebook who I haven't met in person. And I'm like, I totally respect that, because I used to be like that. But now I see that I do have a criteria for who I friend request. I'll make sure we have at least 4 friends in common. I make sure they look somewhat normal and somewhat relatable. It's not I know that sounds superficial, but you can read a face a little bit, and you can kind of read a profile. And if they seem really politically driven or have strong opinions about certain things, I'm no, I don't want weird comments about at least a few friends in common and look like someone I could even approach in person. So then I also feel when you join groups that have common interests, I met a lot of coaches and challengers, a ton. Bethany and Karen were 2 of my coaches, and they came from North Shore Moms group. I just posted about a challenge group. I got a lot of challengers that way too, some who didn't become coaches. But that is great if you can do it, advertise that you're going to do a challenge group, a call to action of some sort. The only caveat to that is that there are some administrative rules about you can't post or promote certain things or advertise certain things. So I've got my wrist slap. Since then, I sort of got lucky, and then they started cracking down on us Beachbody coaches because there's more than a few that were posting. So if you can get away with that and post, there's also a moms promoting direct sales, which I think is great, but it's we're all trying to sell something. And someone I think Sharice is in that group too. Someone today was like, oh, does anyone have a meal replacement shake? And like immediately got like 178 replies. So I'm not even going to bother with that. But if someone's talking about like how to get fit after having a baby or something, I might just send them a personal message too. But I'm in all sorts of groups, like for blogging and moms clubs and the local arts community, that sort of thing. So like just seek out your interests and join groups, and then post however you feel comfortable about, anyone looking to like get fit this summer, or, any sort of call to action. It could be like a soft or more of a, hey, let me know by Monday if you're interested. My group starts in 2 weeks kind of thing. And then the third thing is I feel like volunteering for things, people are just like so open-minded and open-hearted when they like volunteer. I just did this like love flash mob for Glennon of Mama Street. She does like Together Rising. It's like one of her organizations. She does a love flash mob where we all like, everyone gets online and you can't donate more than like $5. But they raise a certain amount of money and give it to people in need. So I met a bunch of people because I was on the PR team for that. So I met a bunch of people, and like one woman immediately reached out to me and was like, oh, you do challenge groups? I need to lose like 90 pounds, like on the 21-day fix. So that was some way that, just from being Facebook friends, she reached out to me. But it all started with volunteering. So like everything comes full circle. Like people you reach out to like a year ago will come back. Like it's crazy. Like that's what I love about this business. Actually, I know some people like don't like the part of it being like you're selling to friends or whatever, but like I actually love that part because it's like given me the opportunity to get back in touch with people I might not have. Like I have 2 friends right now in my challenge group from like high school. So it's just fun. I think that's fun. So I guess like this is what I'll leave you with. Like just be open, like make connections, build on that, and then like let the invitation process and Beachbody conversation, like let that happen organically. Like maybe it'll happen in person the first time you meet, or maybe it'll happen like, after a few Facebook posts and, you're doing a blitz and you think of them because you guys have like, formed something solid enough where you feel comfortable. So that's my spiel. I mean, that's like all I do. So I don't know if it helps.
No, that was awesome, Rachel. Thank you. You've had so much success, like I said in the beginning, reaching out to people and just meeting random people and connecting in so many ways, especially with those moms groups. And the mom groups too online have been really helpful for me. In my area, there's a big tent group that covers a bunch of towns in this area. And we are allowed to post about our business twice a month. So I basically just copy and paste whatever call to action post I've used on Facebook into Big Tent. And pretty much every single month since we moved to this area in September, I've had at least one new challenger come from responding just to that random post that takes 5 seconds. So, sometimes you already do the work to create a great post for Facebook, and you might as well just copy and paste it in every possible place, give it as many possible eyes that could see it. So, it's great to be in those groups, like Rachel said. Does anyone have any questions about, anything Rachel said or anything in general? I'm just going to unmute everyone quickly, but you can also just raise your hand or you can type in the chat box if you have a question. No? All right then. Well, if everyone is good, thank you again, Rachel, and thanks everyone for the time. And I will put up the recording to this call. So if you have coaches or people on your teams that would like to see this, make sure you tag them when Jen and I share the link to this replay tomorrow in our team groups. All right. Have a good night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Joe.
Right.